the best fucking podcast on the West Coast. I'm your host, Omar Kazi, and this is my co-host, Johnny Beresford. We are diversely specific. Johnny, take it away. Do you want to add anything? Do you want to say anything?
We are currently only West Coast, but we are looking to expand very soon.
Of course. We're going to get multiple versions of us. We're going to start cloning us. Yeah. I think it'll be fun.
That's endgame.
Yeah.
That's not going to be for a while.
No, I think we have that technology now.
We'll find out.
I looked at Google.
You
do you
looked
go
at
on,
Google?
Yeah, do you go on Google?
I do go on Google.
Well, I go on
Frequently.
Google a lot. I'm pretty sure I know.
Yeah, you know.
It's
okay.
literally within our grasp. I think within, I want to say like 5 days. It's so
A short
easy now.
time frame.
It's so easy now. You just send in 2 strands of your hair or some shit, I heard, and you mail it in. You get
And
it
they just
cloned.
send you a bathtub.
No, you just get it
saran-wrapped
cloned.
with a clone.
What
of you.
happens is you get a big box, right? And it's just a fucking little baggie. It's just a little baggie with like it kind of looks like jelly beans covered in like applesauce or something. But you just let that shit grow and it'll turn into you.
Mm-hmm.
4 or 5 days.
This is the first time
Tops.
hearing of this. Actually,
You can get them on Amazon.
Yeah.
2-day shipping.
Kind of
Prime.
sounds like that children's toy, the little seahorses you can grow in your water or whatever.
Yeah.
It's a little pill. You put it in your water and then
Apparently their genitals are better too.
really,
Like whatever. So if
Find
like
that
you're a
hard to
male
believe.
and you get cloned, your dick's gonna be bigger.
I find that hard to believe.
You're a female, tighter vagina.
Your vagina gets bigger.
Vagina's bigger, huh?
Your vagina gets bigger, just like a man's dick gets bigger.
I mean, no, it's the opposite. It's what they would want.
This part you're wrong on, I'm sure.
This is where
what
I'm
I saw
wrong.
on
Oh,
Google.
this is where
I
I've
saw
made
this
an
on
error.
Google. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Well,
Well,
that goes our first topic.
yeah. Well, no. I mean, that we're not done with it. Our first topic is genitals. Okay. I want to talk about it. Like, I'm a heterosexual male. Right.
We're still unsure.
Hmm?
We're still unsure about that.
Oh, we're still unsure.
Especially
I mean,
after you
well-
went to, what was that bar called?
What?
What was that bar called that you
I
went
went to a gay bar.
Yeah,
Okay,
what was it
once.
called?
It was for. I was meeting up with friends. Okay.
What was the bar called?
It was called Hunters. Okay.
Hunters, that's
I
right.
did feel hunted. I'm not gonna
Yeah.
lie. It was.
You set yourself up to be hunted.
It's very aggressive. I wasn't looking that bad.
I've never seen someone dress
I was-
so much like
okay.
Ray.
I wasn't looking that bad. I was wearing a denim jacket. Okay, maybe that's arguable. Okay, but most straight guys wear denim jackets. I had a Hawaiian shirt with one button unbuttoned. Oh, whoa, whoops,
That's
my
not
bad.
the gay part. I told you it's not. I should have actually had the picture to pull up here, but that would have been great.
I could send it to you. I could send it to
It's
people.
not something that you can explain. You just the picture.
I
in
feel
the
like I
picture,
looked
you just
fine.
Looked super.
I
fucking
smelled
gay.
good, but I looked fine. All right,
Uh-huh.
that's not the point. Okay, so I'm a straight heterosexual male, but I just think vaginas don't look the best.
Don't
That's just
look
me.
The best.
They don't look the best. It looks like
Definitely
a fucking
depends.
gunshot wound.
It definitely depends.
It looks bad.
I
I've
wouldn't
seen like
I wouldn't say bad.
when you say a good-looking vagina, that it's just not gross. It's just not like a
Not
bad-looking
gross?
one. It's just not like a
I'd say
bad-looking
there are
one.
definitely good-looking vaginas.
I've
in
seen,
my
like I've
opinion.
said, I've seen good-looking ones, but it's not like wow, blown away like good-looking. It's still like a
You've
very
never
strange
sat there,
thing.
like scrolling through porn videos or like any such
Johnny has a
website
life.
screenshots. Oh yeah, totally. You guys fucking filled our Discord with porn. What are you talking about?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Anyways, you've never scrolled past something and thought, "Wow, that's a nice pussy." You've never thought that.
Those words have never came out of my mouth
serious?
because I'm a
Well, no, you're not
respectable
saying it, you're thinking it in your
adult
head.
male.
You're scrolling through a website. You're not talking out loud.
All I'm saying is, it looks painful. All right, it doesn't look like it's the nicest looking thing. That's just all I'm saying.
And you're saying dick and
Like I
balls
said, I'm
looks better.
straight male. Okay, I've been with girls. I like girls.
But do you think dick and
I
balls look
respect it.
better?
I'm not. I'm not saying they look better. I'm just saying it looks less
Appealing than
can I
dick and
put
balls?
this? Huh?
It looks less appealing than dick and balls?
Not necessarily. No.
I'm having
It
trouble
looks
understanding.
whole. It doesn't look like it's destroyed. Imagine if the male's urethra was like the opening size of your mouth. That'd be very, very.
It wouldn't be functional.
It wouldn't be nice.
That would make no sense.
You'd take a fucking nice piss. You'd take a
I
good fucking
doubt
piss
it.
with
You'd be
that.
dribbling for days.
It would just fucking leak out.
Yeah, exactly.
You couldn't control it. If you had to piss, you had to fucking piss. Nobody could stop you. People would have to
Not
just
even
strap
yourself.
fucking tanks onto their thigh to just piss.
That
Wow,
doesn't
that'd be
sound
fucking
good.
crazy.
Sounds terrible.
Yeah, honestly.
So basically, dicks are your favorite genitals.
Yeah,
then.
all right. Well, I think we should just move on. Yeah, dicks are just better looking.
All right.
That like segues pretty well into the next topic, I guess, like overly clingy people.
Does it?
How do you feel about that? What are your thoughts?
I don't know. I don't see myself as a very blunt person. Usually, unless it's with someone I'm like comfortable with, obviously. But usually, if someone's being, in your opinion, overly clingy, you probably aren't on great terms with them.
I mean, what's your
Um,
definition of overly clingy?
It's,
How do you categorize somebody as being overly clingy?
the girl from your story we're about to talk about?
Oh
would
yeah.
be a
Oh
good
well. Slow down,
example of
Don.
that.
We should talk about that.
We can have some foresight. There's some foreshadowing. It's fine.
Sure. Prime it.
Um,
Prime our little story.
I don't know, overly clingy. It depends. Like talking about like in like a romantic sense, or
In general,
like a friend who just doesn't leave you
Yeah.
alone.
anything. What are
I
your
mean,
feelings on overly clingy people?
If it was a friend, I think it'd be pretty easy to deal with. You just
How do you
tell 'em to
deal with
fuck
that?
Off.
Tell
Tell
'em
them to fuck off for a bit. You want to be alone.
What if you're not good friends? What if you're just fucking acquaintances? You're just a fucking like, you know how you tell an acquaintance from a friend?
Mhm.
The fucking acquaintance says, "Oh,
You don't
how was
want
your
them-
weekend?"
You don't want to like be a dick to them. That's how you tell.
Huh?
You don't. If it's just an acquaintance, not a friend, you don't feel comfortable being a dick to that person.
Yeah, but like, like how you can just tell though. Like when I'm talking to somebody, if I ever hear the words like the sentence, "How was your weekend?" automatically acquaintance. I never
How was your weekend, by the way?
see, don't fucking do this right now. I had a pretty fucking solid week, but regardless, that's not the point. When somebody starts off with that, unless it's like, a longtime friend that you haven't seen for a while, and then you can maybe ask them like, "Oh, how have you been?"
You wouldn't
That's
say
fine.
weekend though. You'd say
Yeah,
"Have you been
exactly.
in the last 3 years."
And when I hear those words, I automatically think like, "Oh, this is somebody from work,
Mhm.
or this is somebody like I'm just an acquaintance with. I'm not like,
yeah, how is that
it's fine."
tied into clingy people though?
So did get off a little tangent, flew off on a little tangent, but like, I mean, you can relate it to overly clingy people, but it's just like how you deal with them. If
Yeah, I
if
suppose.
it's like an
Alright, so if
acquaintance,
it's
you
an
don't need a.
acquaintance, I feel like most people get the message. For me, at least, I'm not gonna be straight up like, if I'm not like on good terms with this person, I'm not gonna be straight up like no, fuck off, stop talking to me. But I will be short with you. Like I will
Mhm.
I won't say like maybe.
You'll show your
Rain
disinterest.
check. I'll straight up say no, right?
Mm.
So say someone asked me to go do something and I just don't want to, or it's just someone I don't really want to hang out with, or they only want to do things that I don't want to do. I might not straight up say those things to them, but I will say no over and over and over until they eventually just sort of stop asking. And that's happened.
It's really
quite a few
fucking
times.
brutal too, when like the message is just not coming across, or they can maybe kind of tell, but they don't want to assume that
Yeah.
you don't like them, so
And
then they
think,
just
and
it's
then
that
think, oh,
that
but
weird
maybe
thing.
not,
Most people honestly have like the social intelligence to realize like, oh fuck, this person doesn't want to hang
I
out
mean,
with me.
there's also that extra layer of complexity if you're doing this through like a text-based.
Yeah,
text-based
it is more
conversation.
difficult with text because sometimes you can't tell,
Yeah.
And I personally, I'm not a fan of texting. I'm not a fan of texting people when it comes to like talking to a girl or talking to a friend. I'd much
You hit
rather
'em up
call
on
them.
Viber instead.
Hmm?
You just hit them up on Viber instead.
Oh, yeah.
WhatsApp.
Oh yeah.
No, WhatsApp is texting, huh? Can
I'll
you
send
call
them a
on
snap of my fucking like asshole or something.
What?
I'll send them a snap of something.
Snap of your asshole?
Yeah, and I'll just send a little message going like, "Hey, what are you up to? How was your weekend?" This is my fucking
yeah.
gooch.
I'm sorry, I got lost. There's a story of someone in a picture of their asshole going to the wrong person.
Oh yeah, how would you
Right.
how would you talk about that?
I think we're just gonna ignore that story for now.
Oh, yeah, you think?
How would you talk about that? You don't. You delete the message. You pretend it never happened.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I mean, what if it's a good asshole?
They say new phone, who this? And
What if
then
it's a
just
nice
never-
asshole?
Fair enough.
Then you
Depending
keep
on
it.
who it is, but say it was your
That's
boss.
really strange, like that's kind of weird that we get like I'm assuming since you're a heterosexual male, you get turned on by like women's assholes.
Not the asshole itself, but like what you can do with it. Sure.
Wow. Okay. Most guys honestly don't fuck with the asshole, Like, do you eat ass?
Oh no, I would never.
You've never
Will
eaten
never,
ass in your life.
Will never.
You've never
have
even
not.
considered it.
No.
Never
definitely
even
not,
considered
no.
it.
You know how fucking
I'm gonna be
sanitary I
honest,
am.
like
All
If
right,
it,
I'll tell you what. If I can take like a pressure washer in there for like 10 minutes, I know for a fact she used like 3 enemas in the last hour. We'll consider it.
like she's guaranteed like clean.
Like if it smells like lemon pledge
Lemon,
and there's no visible
like just straight Clorox.
staining or like
She is absolutely zero bacteria, no microbes,
yeah.
just straight
consider
clean
it.
flesh.
Even still, probably not. No.
Wow, I didn't
Not
know
interested
that
in
was like.
ass to mouth.
That's
in
how
any,
you're like, Johnny.
No.
There are some dirty places in the human body, that you
most
probably touch or
places
kiss
in the
more
human
than.
body are dirty.
I mean, there you go. So like, I get it. I totally understand where you're coming from. Literal feces come out of there.
Yeah.
And I don't know why.
Feces are probably some of my
But why
least
is it so
favorite things.
attractive then? Why are you attracted to that?
I told you I'm not attracted to the asshole itself.
But the act of doing stuff to it.
I don't know.
I'm curious. Because that's a very interesting
Probably
topic.
more psychological than anything. It's
What is the psychology behind that? Explain.
It sort of insinuates that they're being more submissive.
Oh, see, now
Just
we're
because
getting
it's
somewhere.
less-
Okay.
Usually a woman's going to be less likely to consent to that, right?
Yeah.
So if
No,
they
fair.
do-
It is a big step. It's a
Yeah.
big deal because nobody wants to be put in that position. If a girl were to ask you, "Do you want to get pegged?" I'm
I'd
almost
straight up
positive.
break up
Yeah.
with her, don't talk to
You
me ever
would
again.
Really? Like you'd
No,
break
I
up
wouldn't
there?
go to that extreme, but
But
I'd say
you'd be
no.
like, "No,
I'd say
definitely
no,
no."
and we're not talking about it
And
either.
I agree with you. Like, I mean, I've had some like
It's a double standard to an extent,
it is a
but at
double
the same
standard.
time, like men, like traditionally, are not the ones who get
Reamed,
inserted.
get railed by
Yeah.
Applebee's.
So, like, I still think I wouldn't even say it's a double standard. Actually, I'd say it's just, I don't know. Maybe it is. Maybe it's sexist to even.
100%. You're
who
just a
knows?
fucking
Honestly, Who
pig.
knows? Maybe
You're
we're
a sexist pig.
maybe we're 300 years behind, like the perfect non.
Why is the male G
biased-
spot in the asshole then? In the anus?
Who knows if that's actually like. Well, I mean, technically, when a human is formed,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm sure you know how that happens, right?
Oh yeah.
The gender isn't necessarily chosen or like set in stone immediately. It takes a while, right?
Okay.
Like in the womb, and everyone has the same body parts, right? Like you do realize how the genitalia are formed when a baby is, or like when a zygote turns into a fetus, and so on and so forth.
I mean, give me a refresher. What do you mean?
All right, so essentially you can think of it as in the womb, everyone starts out with a very tiny little baby dick.
Oh yeah.
And then
it will.
depending
Oh
on how
okay.
things go, it will either turn into a vagina or turn into a dick.
I
and
see.
balls.
And then that little baby dick for a girl would be like their clitoris.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. No, that makes sense. Yeah, I remember that.
But then I'm assuming it would be the same deal for men, right? Like the G spot has to go somewhere.
True. And yeah, we don't have a vagina, so we
I
go
could
to
be
our.
wrong. I could be completely
I mean,
wrong.
it could
'cause
be
those
in
are
our
for two
dick. It could.
completely different.
Why wouldn't they
like,
put in the
areas.
urethra, like in the penis
Maybe
itself?
there is one there. I don't know. I'm not an expert.
Yeah, you're not a
so
biologist. I mean, I'm
Um,
fair. That's fair.
It could be a more recent. I don't know. How old is homosexuality? Honestly,
I'm not sure. I'm almost positive
Could be
back in the day, like
evolutionary, but
it honestly probably was like when humans were like around.
maybe yeah.
Pretty sure it dates back to like when humans were like originated,
Probably.
even before humans. Like I'm sure with animals, even though it served
I don't
no,
think so.
I'm sure even if it served like I remember like listening to like a study with like Nat Geo and stuff. Like some like animal species will have same sex like sex, like
Really,
they will partner up, even
I
though it
know-
doesn't
I
serve
know
like
that they'll
any.
have partnerships.
It doesn't
Like
serve any
penguins
like
used to do that a lot.
it doesn't serve any like obvious like reproduction
Biological
like
purpose, yeah.
reproductive purposes, but like I'm sure that there's still like just that feeling, that feeling of being with somebody else. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
I'm
I
not
always just
gonna
thought
like
it was
speak for the
confusing.
animal species or like cavemen in general if like homosexuality
Yeah.
was like back then, but I'm pretty sure it was. The point is, where were we? We were talking about fucking anal.
Talking about G spots in men's asses.
We're getting off topic. I was talking about why you were so
I gotta stop right
fascinated.
there. That was the best fart I've had all day.
Good topic.
was-
You tie right into the anal,
I thought we
asshole.
were done with that.
I was not done. I was
Okay.
talking about why you find assholes so enticing.
I don't. I said that twice so far. It's not the asshole.
I guess we're different then. I find assholes very enticing,
Really.
but I don't know why.
So we're gonna.
Their shit
backtrack.
comes out of there.
We're gonna backtrack. Oh no, yeah. I know. I don't.
I don't know
understand that
why.
either.
Like,
I'm gonna backtrack just a little bit. So, dick and balls look better than vaginas,
yes,
and you find assholes more enticing than vaginas.
I'm gay. There you go.
There's nothing wrong with it. I'm just saying, like, it seems like you're leaving little breadcrumbs of gayness.
I'm
for us
not.
to follow.
Little breadcrumbs of gayness.
It's from
That's good.
the interview. Or is it the interview?
You could have just said you made it up. Nobody watched that movie.
I'm not a
It
plagiarist.
was a really bad movie.
Really?
It wasn't good. I didn't like it.
I thought it was fine.
I think Seth Rogen's really good, and
It was
Philip
definitely,
DeFranco-
they
Philip
definitely tried
DeFranco.
too hard, but there was good
Fucking
parts.
James Franco.
Yeah,
He's
James
okay.
Franco, yeah.
I think that he's okay. I thought that the movie was okay. Overall, it was like a fucking 5 out of 10.
I give it a 6.
Oh wow. look at
Comedies
you.
are never good.
No,
You
that's not
watch
true.
them to
That is
laugh.
not true. That is not true.
It's entirely true.
There are good comedies that are like in the 8s.
Name
They might not be like the 10s, but they're in the 8s.
like those are literally like once in a decade though. Like
Exact-
we're talking
well,
like
exactly.
This is the End, Hangover.
Well, then
that
why
kinda
did they
shit.
make it?
Huh?
Why did they make it?
Because I'm just saying like not statistically, but usually a comedy movie has less plot, has less
Mhm.
substance to it, right? Because you don't need it for a comedy, so people just don't do it.
I agree.
Hangover, fantastic plot, fantastic acting.
They
when-
fucking
when you
milked the
think
shit out
comedy-
of that movie.
When you think comedy actors, first thing that pops into my head is Adam Sandler. That sack of
Why?
shit cannot act.
That guy is
Terrible.
one of
But
the
he's like
worst
the
actors
face of comedy
in the
movies.
world. No, he's not.
A lot of people would see him.
All right,
And
okay,
Will
okay.
Ferrell, like
I take that back. I
type of
agree with you.
person,
I agree
know?
with you. He is very famous and in the world of comedy, but he is just like
Dog
compared
shit
to like
actor.
people like Robin Williams, fucking Tom Hanks. Like
Yeah,
maybe
but
Tom
those
Hanks
aren't- I
isn't
wouldn't
like
say those are
exclusively
comedy.
for comedies.
I can't think of a single comedy movie that either of those actors are in.
Robin
That's
Williams.
strictly- Romantic comedies are completely different.
What are you talking about?
I'm talking just,
Mrs.
like, straight-
Doubtfire.
Huh?
Mrs. Doubtfire. You never saw
suppose,
Mrs.
I
Doubtfire. This
suppose.
guy is in a fucking granny costume. That was
Honestly, I would
fucking
almost say that movie's a
genius.
drama. There was a lot of sad in
that
that
was
movie.
genius. Yeah, it was.
There was
It's
a
very
lot of
sad, but it was fucking
Oh,
genius.
absolutely.
It was a fucking beautiful movie. Very good movie.
And then Blubber. Have you seen Blubber? So fucking good.
Just the name of that movie. What do you think the guys were doing
No,
in
it
the
was
fucking?
Flubber. Flubber.
Yeah.
not
What were?
Blubber.
What do you think the guys were doing in the fucking, like their studio? Just
When they
thinking of
came up
names.
with that movie?
Look, What do we fucking name this movie? Like, let's just get a
Pretty sure the
guy.
who wrote it named it.
And let's just make him fucking like, what was it like premise? Like he was gelatinous or something.
remember.
Like he was able to
it was
stretch
like
his
a
body.
science experiment that created a living body of Jello type of thing.
What
I
the
don't remember.
Fuck is
I haven't
that?
seen it in like.
When did that
15
movie come out?
years.
In the 90s?
Probably, yeah. It was like my
What
favorite.
were those
movie when I
people
was a kid, though.
smoking? Fucking PCP.
I don't think
How
that's
do
the
you even,
weirdest
like-
movie I've ever
how do you
seen.
even,
It's
like-
definitely not the weirdest movie I've ever
It's
seen.
not, but I'm just saying like that movie is marketed towards children. You know, it's like
Yeah, I think that's a good thing.
that's fucking crazy.
It was a good movie for kids.
I suppose. I mean, I
But
wouldn't.
yeah.
I wouldn't call it a good movie. I wouldn't go that
Back
far.
on topic though, like comedies historically don't have as much substance because you don't need it. You know, you're there for the laugh. You don't need like.
True, but I'm
So,
not
But
like.
then you get those ones that do have substance. That do
Mm.
have good actors. There's a plot to follow. There's a reason for everything happening. There's actual story arcs and that stuff like The Hangover. This is the end, not so much. I think that was just like genuinely just super funny. And some people
yeah.
might not even consider that to be one of the best comedy movies.
like they're really well thought out comedies. Like really,
Yeah.
like they don't just fucking slap you in the face with dumbass dick jokes or something. Even though this movie did have a good amount of dick jokes.
Which one?
Superbad.
Oh, Superbad.
I
Yeah.
really enjoyed Superbad.
That's a classic.
I felt like
But
it
it
was
had plot.
eloquently
It had
put
substance,
together.
It had character arcs. Like, never in a comedy movie do you have almost every single character developing throughout the entire movie.
Exactly, and it had like a legitimate story, like you said, plot, and it just it melded in well together. I feel like most comedies
And it
they
was
just
relatable.
throw.
It was so relatable because everyone who was watching that movie at the time was in high school. Like most everyone,
Yeah,
I'm sure.
no, I agree.
Like that was,
And the actors that they got were so perfect. Like they bounced so well together.
Mhm.
It was fucking Johnny Hill.
Johnny Hill.
I still call him Johnny Hill, but Jonah Hill and Michael Cera.
Yeah.
Perfect combo. Like a really fucking socially awkward kid, and then another socially awkward kid that's just, you know, he's
Oblivious.
the comedic relief. You know, he's like that fat guy who's super fucking funny.
And you got
Like,
McLovin.
The things that he was saying back then, that's what drew inspiration from me to be like, I was just like, I was a fucking fat kid in high school. I was like, I want to be like fucking Jonah Hill. This guy's gonna get laid by Emma Stone. That could be me. That could be me.
Potentially.
He definitely did.
In the sequel.
No, backstage in the fucking dressing room. 100%.
I thought we were talking about plot and everything. So I
100%.
thought we were talking about the story, but
That's part of the story.
I don't think Jonah Hill's actually like that in real life.
What do you mean?
He probably fucks.
Definitely.
Absolutely.
No, absolutely. He's a fucking hero. He's a hero of a man. I find like actors super like respectable. Like the lengths that they go through to like get ready for a role and all of the studying
Some
that
of
they
them.
do. Some
Like
of them.
Christian Bale, for example. Oh my
Christian
God.
Bale, like what
He's went obese, back to bodybuilder status to obese, back and forth like so many
I
times.
do respect Christian Bale, but like
emaciated, like skin and bones.
like I'm saying, fucking Jonah Hill. Have you seen his body transformations? Like he has been like
He went from like morbidly obese to regular obese, and then like
he got
stayed
fit.
there.
He got very fit.
Now recently, he is definitely.
He got very fit, and then he
much
goes back. You know, he'll bounce back. But it's very impressive to me that actors can just fucking do that. You know, people think like they look at an actor and like, oh, dude, that guy has it so fucking easy. Like he's making so much money. Like,
Well, depending on who it is, I'm sure a lot do. Honestly.
yeah, but like usually the successful ones are the ones that people are, you know, talking the most shit about. I feel like when you're doing well, that's when you'll get the most hate. You'll garner like the most, you know, adversity when you're doing the best. When you're doing the best possible.
It's
People
'cause you're
have
getting
something
more
to complain
attention in
about.
general.
Exactly. That's why, you know, like with more, you know, fame comes more like, you know, whichever. Like, so these actors, like they're putting in so much work, they're able to change their fucking body within like a matter of months, like a couple months. And yeah, people say like, oh, they have fucking personal trainers, they have personal chefs who are like helping them on the way, but they're still doing that work, you know.
Mhm.
It reminds me of like people who like complain about that. It's just like the people who are watching like a pro sports game and then they're just like, oh, what a fucking idiot, dude. Like a guy misses a free throw and it's this fucking obese guy just sitting on the couch eating nachos and saying, what a fucking loser, dude. Like, yeah, man, fuck him for missing a free throw, you know. Like,
Yeah, that always drove me
What an
insane,
idiot.
actually. Like, people watching, like, professional sports and stuff like that, or... I mean, I guess, yeah, like, you're allowed to criticize, but the irony's definitely there.
definitely.
Like, I wouldn't be able to catch that fucking 75-yard pass from, like, one of the strongest men on the planet. I'm assuming most quarterbacks are stronger than the average male.
Nah.
No? You don't
I'm
think so?
sure like an average Joe on the street is just as strong.
Absolutely.
They're just as strong. They're
You're
just
right,
as
I was
fast.
way off base.
I could take a fucking quarterback.
Totally.
I could take a fucking lineback or a
I mean, technically, I was a quarterback for our flag football team
holy
for like a
shit,
week.
John.
Yeah.
I loved playing football when I was like younger because I was fucking huge and nobody can fucking touch me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, they could technically touch me, but they couldn't bring me to the ground, so it didn't matter. Like, I would play football out here in the cul-de-sac with like all the other kids, and they would fucking hate me. They're like, "Oh, this fucking fat fuck, he's gonna come and play football with us again."
Wait, in this same area?
Yeah.
How long have you guys had this house?
I moved here when I was 9, 23 now, so it's been a while. When I was like
14 years.
13 or 14, me and my brother would always fucking go around town or go around our little neighborhood and just play with other kids. And I remember we'd just fuck around. I remember I got on this was like the dumbest fucking story. So you know how there's like a little steep hill going down,
Mm-hmm.
you know, my street. It's a moderately steep hill. I would say like it's at like a, you know, pretty solid, you know, level of steepness. Like it's not that bad. If you're walking up it, you might get a little winded. But my fucking brilliant brain at the ripe age of 12 and a half was just like, I think I can ride down that hill with no hands on my bike. And, you know, let me just fucking put a guitar in my hand and try and play guitar at the same time. I know. Yeah. I was just like, I could do it. So I go up to this hill, onto the street, not on the sidewalk part, onto the street, because I need more room, you know? And you know how if you were to just go down, there is another intersection for cars to just pass through. So, you know, not thinking, 12 and a half years old, I just fucking go. I'm just like, fuck it. I already practiced for like 3 days before I did that shit to, you know, ride my bike with no hands, and I could do it. You know, it's riding a bike. It's not hard. But I'm like, I never did it with putting a fucking guitar in my hand and trying to play guitar. And I was doing it. It was going well. I was maybe halfway down, and then I lost balance. And then I saw my fucking handlebars turning. It just straight up turned. I fucking planted on the ground. My guitar, it was like an acoustic guitar. Some shitty like $20, $30 acoustic guitar. Just fucking shattered on the street. That's not the worst part. I fucking face plant. My ankle gets caught in my bike chain, and I can't move now, and I just fucking skid across that, moderately steep hill.
Asphalt.
I was wearing shorts, too. I get up, my fucking leg is just red. That's why I don't have hair on part of my leg, just because all of that skin was just fucking gone.
Nice.
Like, it was just fucking destroyed. And I remember, I was in pain and agony, and I didn't even realize that I was lucky. Like, imagine if I made it down and a fucking car just ran me over or some shit. But I remember walking back to my house, I was like, oh my fucking God, my parents are gonna kill me. They found me, and they're just like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, what's wrong with you? My dad's like, my son, like what are you doing?
That sounds like something my parents
What
would
have
say
you
to me.
done? I give you a guitar, I give you a bike, and look at what you did. Look at your legs. Don't go outside. And that's how I got obese. That's how I became fat. Right there. Stayed at home, played video games. Boom.
Yeah,
Best life.
It's a dangerous place.
Yeah. But I mean, like, that's what happens when you overeat. You don't go to the gym. You just stop being a human. It isn't good for you, man, How have you been feeling recently?
Recently, as in?
Just in general, like past 2 weeks.
Been perpetually under the influence.
Wow.
Like I went to Coachella. It was fun.
Mm-hmm.
Spent $400 on largely gin and tonics, but drinks in general. They were $12 each. I actually haven't done the math yet to see exactly how many drinks it was, so I'm gonna try that real quick. Say like $14 per drink, probably.
Wow.
So well over 30 drinks. Yeah, about a little under 30 drinks.
Really?
Yeah, 2 days.
2 days. So, 15 drinks a day ish?
About-ish, yeah, about.
That's pretty solid.
Give or take like the tip and all that, 'cause I don't remember. I don't remember. I hit a random button each time. It gave you that like 15, 18, 20% type of deal, and you just press a button and it adds it on. I had like different bartenders every time.
You feel like a douchebag if you say no tip. I always have to give a tip. I always feel like
I always give a tip, but sometimes not the same amount,
Yeah, obviously.
Like our buddy George, who works at the Nest occasionally, he was working one of the VIP bars.
Mm-hmm.
So we went to him most of the time. And I would always hit that 22% button every time.
Wow.
I think it was 22%. But the rest of them I would do like the lowest or the second lowest. It's an extra 40 cents, whatever.
Exactly, but I mean, like, it'll pile up. Eventually, you could have gotten like 3 or 4 drinks.
It will, but at the same time, like, I don't know, they're making pretty good money for that weekend.
Exactly, and they're being like,
yeah,
they're helping you out.
They're shit drinks too, like dog shit drinks, and I'm paying $12 for it. Like,
shit, fuck.
Yeah. Like they have, I don't know if you know those. When someone pours the liquor, the little end cap on it that actually lets it come out in like a solid stream. They have end caps that can it'll stop it automatically. It'll stop the pour automatically at like a 1 ounce pour.
Really?
So that you can hand pour but not go over. Like, 'cause they don't want you to like give your buddies, for example, a stronger drink. They're all.
You'd need to do 2.
Huh?
You'd need to like pour it
you
twice.
You need to do 2 full pours. Yeah.
I see.
Apparently, they had people watching the bartenders like fucking hawks too.
That's interesting. Yeah.
It's
because I mean, like,
how insane
I'm
they are
assuming
about
like
their money.
Since there's so many people at Coachella, like they're gonna be running through fucking alcohol. They
Like,
probably have
obviously,
somebody just like
that's
literally bringing them more alcohol, like shipments of alcohol.
They
just
ran
because
out of gin. They ran out of gin.
that's fucking crazy.
The entire
Who
VIP
the
bar.
fuck gets gin?
Okay, so let's see. There's probably like 40 bartenders there for the VIP area for the standard bars.
Mm-hmm.
There's 2 massive bars, a huge line of people. bartenders on each side, and the entire place was out of gin before Sunday was over.
Wow.
Before Ariana even went on, the headliner.
Before Ariana got on.
Future ex-wife of mine. Yeah.
Future ex-wife.
Yeah.
I mean,
but no, like I was gonna say, it's strange because I could have been placebo just because like he's a friend of ours, but I swear to God, George somehow made the drinks stronger than all the other fucking bartenders. But
maybe it was definitely placebo. You probably saw your friend. You're just saying like, this guy's fucked me up before. He's fucking me up now.
He destroyed me that weekend. But yeah, then even after that, like we went out every day for the last like 2 weeks, and I need to slow down.
Yeah, like I said, my week's been fucking crazy, man.
Yeah.
Had a long week. Haven't slept well. Literally, this is my first day I've actually been able to sleep pretty decently.
Yeah, I slept for like 10 hours.
Last night, I only slept.
No, I didn't. That's right. I went to bed late as shit. I forgot we stayed at Chris's way longer than we were going to.
What time did you leave?
I think we left at like 2:15.
Wow. Okay, so I left at.
Then I watched an entire episode of 24 when I got home.
Wow.
And go to bed till like 3:30.
I left at 11:30ish. Then I got home, and then Che came over, and we actually smoked for a little bit.
It's against the
We were
law.
talking. But yeah, it was midnight. It's 4:20, so it's legal.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, it's legal at 4:20. I don't know if you knew that.
Yeah.
But he stayed till like 2, and then I told you I had a session at 8 in the morning. So I woke up at like fucking 6, slept for 4 hours again.
Yeah.
I'm like, what am I doing? What am I doing to myself? Why am I doing this to
You're
myself?
handling it better than I ever could, honestly. Like
I shouldn't be doing it though. I shouldn't be putting
How
myself
much
in
sleep
that
do you
position.
usually get naturally? Say if you just let yourself wake up.
Honestly, if I sleep over 8 hours, like if I sleep
feel
into
like
9
shit.
or 10, I feel like dog
Yeah,
shit. I
but
feel garbage.
What do you think is your ideal amount?
I think I need 7.
7?
Yeah.
I need 8. 8 to 9.
I'm one
is
of those
like my
people who
ideal.
could function very well off of 5.
I can't.
To be honest.
I will. The second I stop doing anything, right? So I can go to class. I'll be fine. Be driving around. But the second I get home and like I need to do homework, right? I think. Shoot. Like I'll sit on my couch or something for 10, 15 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
Boom. Day's shot. Can't do anything now. I'm dead asleep.
Really?
Yeah. So I need a
good
amount of sleep.
That happens to me as well. So I feel like I can function off of 5 hours, right?
Mm.
As long as I'm doing shit.
Well, I wouldn't call that functioning. Like you can't rest.
That's not the truth though. I feel like even if I had 8, hypothetically, say I had 8.5 hours of sleep, like a really solid night, even if I stayed still, it might be my diet. I feel like I've been maybe a week ago I was eating really well. This week I haven't been eating the best. It definitely has to do with my diet, how much water I'm drinking. But, diet plays a factor in a lot of stuff. But if I'm just standing still or just sitting, like with my job, I have work in the mornings and then work in the afternoons and work at the night. But I have a couple gaps here and there.
Mm-hmm.
Those gaps are fucking dangerous. The
You take a
drives
nap and
home
you're
are
fucked.
fine. The drives home are fine. I'm thinking a lot. I'm usually listening to a podcast or listening to music, thinking about my life or, doing something. I obviously need to be like present if I'm fucking driving. I can't be falling asleep on there. But
Yeah.
if I stay, I have like a 2-hour break in between a couple sessions, I will go home and just sit down. The moment I sit down, I'm fucking dying.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, what have I done? Why did I do this to myself? But the moment I'm starting to do some work or just doing anything, hanging out with a friend, instantly my energy's back. So I feel like that is functioning. It's just you need to be moving. You need to be functioning for it to work.
No, okay, so that's not. If you're having that type of deal, you have an unhealthy amount or unhealthy lack of sleep, I should say.
I don't think so because, like I said, I could have 8.5 hours. The same thing would happen to me. I could have 10 hours probably, and it'd be even worse.
Of course.
No, but there's no like in between for me. I think it's either I can function better off of 7.5 hours to 8 hours. I'm not saying that I can't function better, but I can function well off of 5 to 6. But I would be sleepy and tired the same times during the day.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm assuming it's just because of my diet. I need to change it.
Well, have you ever done this before? Like just weeks on weeks on weeks of just like 4 to 6 hours of sleep a night, and maybe like 10 on your day off, and then just doing that over and over. Have you ever done that?
Like 10 hours of sleep on my days off?
I'm just saying, like, have you ever deprived yourself of sleep like you are now for an extended period of time before?
I remember when I first started with the job, and
I would still
maybe
consider that like recent times.
maybe a month and a half, like a month and a half ago. That's when I started having some sleep deprivation. But recently, this week has been pretty horrific. Like you'd admit, I. How much would you say? So a person sleeps around like 8 hours a day, right?
Varies from 6 to 8 is like the usual.
So 6 to 8. So you're the math guy. Like 6 to 8 times what? 5 in my work week. I have 6 days. I work 6 days out of the week. So 8 times 6.
It's 40. 30 to 40. So 6 to 8, 30 to 40.
I'm supposed to get 30 to 40 hours. I'd say maybe I got a total of like 20-ish. Half of that. So that's not ideal.
And you feel like you're functioning still?
Yeah. No, definitely.
No, you will. I mean, the thing is, you will crash.
No, but I do feel bad. I feel worse.
Crash
so
hard.
That's why, like, I'm, gonna get back to my little groove, but it's just like.
No, I know. But the whole point I'm trying to make is, you might think that you're functioning, but you're not. You just don't realize how poorly you are functioning. Like, you probably just don't see the difference.
I do see that I'm functioning worse than, like I said, with the full amount of sleep. I'm not saying that. Like I said earlier, like I'm gonna perform better with more sleep.
Yeah, because like it's becoming, especially recently. I can't give you specifics, but I used to read up on this all the time because I've always had issues sleeping. Always. Like incredibly bad issues with sleeping. Not like insomnia per se, but just. So I've done like a lot of reading up on it and stuff, and lack of sleep, extended periods of time, lack of sleep, like. For example, I don't know if you remember when I slept through my final that one time.
Yeah.
That's when I was doing 15 units of school and working like 35 hours a week on top of it. So I was getting like 5 to 6.5 hours of sleep a day.
Wow.
For about 3 months, right? And I was functioning. I was able to go to class, go to work, get all my shit done. I didn't feel like I was dying, right? But like the last week of school, probably I was just miserable. And finally it comes time to, it's finals week, and I had my second to last final the next day. Actually, you and I were playing League of Legends.
I remember. Yeah, we were playing video games,
5 a.m.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
that's
all I have to
irresponsible
do is wake up,
from your part. I feel like you should have just.
It was my fault, totally. I thought I could wake up though, because I had been doing that for so long. Not like 5 a.m., but I had been just not sleeping, right? And yeah, I ended up sleeping right through it. First time the entire semester that I didn't like wake up to my alarms. Always been able to wake. I'm a super light sleeper, so but you will crash and it'll be hard. It will.
You'll definitely. I agree too. Lack of sleep will literally kill you.
Yeah, no, yeah.
Lack of sleep will literally that is one of the worst things you can do to your body is just not sleep. It's up there with like
talk about the
drinking water.
Shit I read up was. It can be lethal, and you can get permanent brain damage from like pulling all-nighters and shit. That's really bad.
No, yeah, it's definitely not good. And things like supplements like fish oil and things like with omega-3s and stuff to help like brain function, that's a supplement. And just like with the word itself, supplement, it's not like the main thing, like you're supposed to be getting your fucking 8 hours of sleep, you're supposed to be drinking your gallon of water a day, getting your vitamins from like whole foods, not just fucking
Well,
pills.
When you say supplements, do you mean like multivitamins and shit like that?
Yeah, well,
apparently those don't even work.
The multivitamins themselves don't work. Like I heard about that too. Like they just pass through your body as
it's just because the delivery system's not there.
But the fish oil does, because it's just a capsule and it's just filled with oil. Like I've literally taken them. I waited like half an hour, remember, and my breath started getting fishy because the oil capsule was just like dissolved, and it does work. Fish oil does like have a lot of good benefits. That's one of the things I actually do take. And then I'll maybe take melatonin just to help me fall asleep sometimes, but I try to not because I'll build like a dependency on it.
No, that's completely wrong. Melatonin doesn't put you to sleep. That's the chemical your brain produces when it thinks it's time to go to sleep, right?
It'll just trigger it.
Sets your circadian rhythm clock or whatever, your natural like sleepy time clock. So you want to use it consistently at the same time daily. You don't take it like once in a blue moon to help you get to sleep. You take it to set your. I
mean, generally that's what I do.
To set your like pattern.
The times when I don't take it is just when I'm already tired. So I'll take it at the same time when I want to fall asleep. If I feel like I need to get a good amount of sleep, I'll just take it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, once the habit's there, you don't need to continue taking it. Your brain will.
Exactly. That's why I feel like it's unnecessary to take it if I'm already fucking tired. So, but yeah, just in general, man, this week has been tough. I worked this morning and afternoon, but I feel like I definitely need to sleep well tonight. I'm gonna work out tomorrow for sure and sleep well into Sunday.
Mm.
And then hopefully that'll set the pace of my next week, so I'm not fucking killing myself.
Ugh.
I need to balance that work, health and social life properly, not just fucking go overboard on one or two of them and then sacrifice one of the others. Because it's true, like, in my opinion, it's true, like, with what some people say is you can't have all three. You can't, like, have really good success in your work and have, like, an amazing social life and be healthy at the same time. I feel like the people who have all three, something is lacking. There's no way that they could be doing the most optimal on all three, you know? I feel like something must be lacking.
I don't know. I think it's more so people overindulge in one of the three every time.
Exactly. No, and I agree with that. Or
two of the
people
three.
just focus really hard on one or two of the three. Maybe not indulge. Like, I do agree that people will indulge. I feel like when you use the word indulge, people are indulging in one of them, one of the three. So it's like social life, for example. They're indulging in that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I feel like that's probably the most indulgent.
No, like, for example, right now, I think you're indulging in your work. You worked 110 hours in the last 2 weeks, you said?
Yeah.
That's well over standard, like, amount of hours. For
Yeah.
most
And I've,
people.
like, just been, like, really proactive when it comes to work. So I'll, like, be talking to my supervisors,
There's
talking to
nothing
my...
wrong with that, but you are obviously aware, like you said it already.
Yeah.
You're making sacrifices in other areas in order to do that.
Exactly, yeah.
But
I'm trying harder.
If you cut that down to 80, that's like a 30% decrease in total hours, which is standard, 40 hours a week. I'm certain you could keep up with everything else just fine, honestly.
I put it to the fact where life is important in general, and I feel like all three of these are important towards life. In my opinion, probably work would probably be the least important. And that's just me. Because, if you think about it, like, I'm not an extroverted type of person. I'm not, like, a social butterfly or anything. But I feel like I have that need to hang out with people and socialize every now and then. And what is the whole point of making money and doing successful or well if you can't enjoy time with people or enjoy yourself, Yeah. You can't go out.
Honestly, like, while I do like to get myself the occasional, like, nice little knick-knack or clothes or something like that.
Little fucking neck massage.
Yeah.
Little fucking happy ending.
Bad. Oh, not the massage guy at the fucking mall. Don't do
those guys are fucking ruthless.
They'll break
those
you.
Chinese men will grab you. They will fucking grab your neck.
Yeah.
They will fucking pull you onto the chair.
Like a wet
and they'll be like, I give you 5 minutes. I give you 5 minutes.
But then the 5
and
minutes.
then they just fucking just go to town on you. And they hurt you.
Yeah.
They hurt you. So you have to buy a fucking massage from them. Right? This guy was fucking going to town on me. And he's buttering me up, Johnny. He's like, oh, your muscle's so big. Oh, you've been working out. So many knots. Your muscle's so big. I'm like, oh my fucking god. Yeah, man, keep it up. What do you want? How much do you want? And he's like, okay, your test is over. $20. I'll give you for 5 minutes. And I said, give me 10 minutes. I went to fucking town. He went to town on me, John. He went to goddamn town on me. But honestly, with this week that I've had, I do deserve a fucking Chinese man massage. I'm gonna go to the fucking mall, get a Chinese man massage, get a fucking Wetzel pretzel, call it a fucking day. That's a good Sunday. I felt so bored today. I'm not gonna lie. See, that's another problem with the work.
Finish what I was gonna say. I think you said work is the least important of them all. I agree, probably more so than anyone else does. I personally, I understand.
And when we say work, we're considering like school. We're talking about your work, your career, everything
for a living, like to survive.
Well, no, I consider school work.
That's not what I'm talking about.
Why? What would it be a part of in this triple factor?
Okay, if you're going to school, hopefully
that's part of work.
Look, let me finish. Hopefully, you're going because there's something you want to do for a living. I consider work, for example, working at a restaurant. You're doing it to get the bills paid, make ends meet. That's work. Now, if I was a software engineer right now working for a huge like AI development firm, I would not consider that work. I would consider that, one, a blessing, two, it's just not work. I would enjoy it, right? I think work is when you.
I understand. No, I understand, and I don't think that you're seeing what I'm talking about. So it's like if we're categorizing it like that, I don't think you need to see it in the sense that like, oh, just because if you call it work, you don't love it. You know, it's like just a fucking job to you.
Yeah,
like,
but
no, I don't.
That was just sort of like I was trying to get to something else. I hate the dependence that like having a job at this age. I feel like a lot of us are just sort of throwing our best years away, grinding away at an entry level position that's not going to give us any sort of lucrative career in the long run. Especially like in my industry, I've met a lot of people in the service industry, be that customer service or food and beverage, and you know they will be there for the rest of their lives, and you can make decent money doing that. No, like definitely.
No, I agree.
More than survive on it, but
I do know what you mean.
Anyone truly enjoys it.
I totally know what you mean. People get comfortable and then they get complacent and they get locked into this thing, and.
Well, no, I think the issue is people are unaware. Actually, Joe Rogan was talking about a very similar thing in the one you played in your car the other day, and I thought that was funny because I'm constantly thinking about this. Like people are just unaware that, you know, it's a risk usually. Like I took a huge risk doing what I'm currently doing.
It's a big risk,
but you don't have to continue doing this shit. Like if there's something you want to do,
you
like,
fucking do it. No,
give it a
you
shot.
just literally do it.
Yeah,
because. Like you said, this is the best years of your life. You're not going to be able to get that shit back.
Mm.
That's how I justify having the social life and fucking partying, you know, on top of doing the work too. Because, like, if I look back at it in 10 years from now, 15 years from now, I'm not going to be able to do that shit. Or I'm not going to be able to do it as well.
What's the worst that can happen? You quit your job, you try something new. What's the word? Oh,
yeah,
you gotta move
fails.
Back
you go. Yeah, you go back.
You gotta move, live in with your family for a little while. Get back up on your feet. Like, who gives a shit? You're not gonna die. It's gonna be a good experience overall. I'm sure.
I mean, you shouldn't say you're not gonna die.
If you become homeless.
Yeah, you could fuck your life up. Some people have some stupid dream. Some people have some stupid fucking dreams.
Like what?
I don't know. Like I want to be a professional skydiver.
I don't think that's a thing. But
that's
the whole thing I was trying to like.
I'm not talking shit about people going skydiving, but it's just like.
Into here is, I think that honestly, and I'm pretty big on like don't say that there's a problem with something unless you can provide a solution to it. Unfortunately, I don't think I can come up with a solution for this as of yet, but I think there's way too big a societal pressure to have a job, right?
Yeah.
Like you have to have a job, you know. You're
no, absolutely.
You have to have a job, you have to work, do this menial labor that no one wants to fucking do.
Hear me
someone
out,
has
too.
to do it.
Because
just so you can live in this 2-bedroom apartment that costs more than you make, and you can't put any money into your savings account, blah, blah, blah.
You projecting right now?
Huh?
You projecting right now?
No, I don't work.
No, somebody else.
Who?
Somebody else you know.
Who?
A roommate?
No. No, I assume he's doing fine financially.
Okay.
We have talks about financials frequently, and he seems to be on top of his shit. And he enjoys what he does, too. So.
Yeah. No, I totally understand what you're talking about, and people have that social stigma. Like, if you just talking about it like on a basic level, like with relationships, if you were to tell a girl like, "Oh, I don't have a job right now, but you know, I'm working on something right now," they're gonna fucking like lose a lot of interest, you know. Even if you have a really shitty job, like McDonald's or something. I'm not talking about shit about McDonald's workers. If you're working at McDonald's, you know, like, God bless you, you know, go for it. You're making money, you know.
Someone has to do it.
Yeah, somebody has to do the job.
That's, you know, that's a job for a high school student.
Yeah, exactly.
For a little bit of spending money. That's not a career.
Exactly.
It's an entry-level position that really has no ladder to climb whatsoever.
If you think, like, yeah, like on a corporate level, if you were to somehow become a manager and then become like a regional manager or something.
Yeah, and of course someone has to do it.
And then you're like corporate, like that is a thing, but like do you really want to climb all of that? I don't think you could climb all of that. Maybe this is
symptomatic of a bigger problem. Like, I hate to be that fucking guy. Like, oh, corporate America is a cancer, blah, blah, blah. But maybe
capitalism, bro.
If we had less franchising and more like mom and pop restaurants and stuff, it would be less of an issue.
I totally agree.
For example, I fucking hate working in the restaurant industry, but goddamn it would be cool to own one, right?
Yeah.
To run one yourself.
Well, I know it's a very difficult like job.
Absolutely,
like it's a very difficult
owning and running any business is going to be tough. But like working in the industry, it shows you the fun sides of it, right? Doing the menial labor and like just being a peon, that's no fun for anyone though.
What I've learned about life is the easy way is always the least rewarding, at least from what I've seen. there have been rare cases where you do little work, but you'll get a lot from it. Very rare cases, you know? But in general, the harder you work, the more you'll get out of it, you know?
Yeah.
I heard this saying once that the 97% of people who gave up are working for the 3% of people who didn't give up, you know? So it's like, that's kind of how it is. So it's like, you work fucking hard and you'll get something out of it. That's why, like, when I first got this job, I was thinking, like, I'm going to work as hard as I fucking can. Like, I'm not going to, if I have the option to take a day off or not take, like, a case or not work, I'm never going to take that. I'm always going to keep finding more stuff to do. And I guess that came from, like, the social stigma of, like, I was just going to school, not working, and I would always get shit from, like, my friends or, you know, just girls or anybody in general. Like, oh, you don't have a job. Like, oh, you're not making money. You know, like, fucking.
It's a terrible stigma. I hate it. I really
Exactly.
do.
Like, you know, Eric. Like, I'm gonna talk about him because, like, he would talk a lot. He'd talk a lot of shit about me. He'd be like, dude, you're just fucking not working.
Okay,
like,
well, it's another touchy subject specifically, but like with that relationship there, but people are gonna get jealous if someone has the means to not have to work.
Absolutely.
Like, and they shouldn't, but it's just natural, unfortunately. You know, like,
being born into, like, a good situation like this. Yeah. I'm sorry to cut you off, but it's just like with my parents and stuff, like, they were well off and they set me up. Like, is that my fault?
It's not.
Did I get angry?
Have to feel ashamed
exactly. No,
either.
and I don't feel ashamed now.
I think you used to.
Exactly, and I feel like that's just natural because, like, you're kind of picked on, you know, for, like, just being in a more advantageous position.
You're working harder than most people we know, I'd say, at the moment. I think you are going to burn yourself out.
The point is, like, what I'm trying to say is, like, I'm not going to lie, like, I was spoiled back then. You know, I feel like it's literally impossible to not spoil a child if you're that well off and you were grown up. Well, all right, not from a parent's standpoint. I'm talking about, like, for the child. It's hard to not be, like, I guess, not spoiled, you know, from that young age. Like, if you're given things and you're able to get something, whatever you want at a young age, why would you refuse that at a young age? Why would you refuse?
Of course, you're not
getting
going to.
a new
That's
toy?
why it's up to the parents. It's entirely up to the parents.
Absolutely.
As is the development for any kid in any, like, like, not just with being spoiled, but in any form of parenting, they need to do that. Sorry, I keep getting distracted by.
No, that's fine.
Anyways, like, it's the parents' job. Like, the kid should not be held responsible. I'd say for at least 99% of their development from a young age is entirely up to the parents. So, I mean, even if your parents are very well off, and I mean, you came out great, so I'm sure this wasn't.
Thank you, Johnny. Oh wow, I'm blushing.
I'm sure this wasn't like a huge issue for you, but I'm sure you'll see those parents who will just shower their kid with stuff. Yeah. Stuff, and, like, the kid doesn't have to do anything, doesn't learn any responsibility, and like that. That does not mean it is impossible for the kid.
I agree.
To, like, come up as a humble and non-spoiled person, right? Like, I know a lot of people who, there's one specifically who had very lucrative childhood, but is one of the most responsible and has been since, like, late teenage years.
And that's really good.
And I've never had any issues with being spoiled or anything like that. He knew what he had. He knew he was lucky to have it. He wasn't ashamed of it. He might have been to an extent, but, like, you know, he's very humble about it. So he was far from spoiled. Hard worker too. I
feel like, I'm gonna be honest, the kids who are able to understand that concept and grasp that idea of, like, I was spoiled back then, but I have to work hard for what I have, like, they honestly, I guess, like, work through it better, you know, in a way, because they understand. I'm not gonna lie, I wish my parents from a younger age taught me the concept of money and how important it was to work hard to earn something, because I'm not gonna lie, like, when I was going to school and I hadn't gotten a job, I still didn't understand the concept of money. I would be buying things and just not caring about what it is. My finances, like savings, like, it wasn't good.
You seemed very conscious about the expenditure of money.
When it came to myself, yes, but when it came to others, no, because, like, I was super generous. Like, whenever it came to, like, me going out to dinner with a friend, if they didn't have money to buy something, like, I would pay for them, even though, like, you know, it was my parents' money. I would like be like, I'll buy your
They gave
food.
you that money to spend.
Yeah, I know, but like realistically, like I shouldn't have been doing that. Not like treating my friends, but like I just shouldn't have been so free with that kind of money. You know, like I should have found a way to make money then, and then I could be doing that. You know, it's not that
Well,
I
it's
still
tough. No
don't do
one-
that. Like I'll still
no
pay
one
for
that
my friends,
age,
but
like everyone, I'm sure you've heard it from every adult you've ever talked to about finances. Oh, I wish someone told me when I was your age to start investing. Blah blah blah.
yeah,
We all know it. No one ever does it. Very
Yeah,
few people actually
true.
like do it. That's because at that age, it's just one. It's complicated. All you ever hear about is like the risks of investing in stocks, like doing day trading, shit like that. It's not easy. You have to invest time in
No,
it.
yeah, and you have
can't
to be
just
good
open
at
up
it.
a fucking portfolio and like, oh, I'm making.
People
8%
think
a
like,
year.
oh,
Like,
dude, I'm gonna invest in stocks and make a fucking millions of dollars. Like, no, that
You
that
could.
shit takes
you
time.
could, but
That
you
shit
have to-
takes
You can't
time
just fucking jump into it.
and
Even
precise
if you know about it, like it's
decision making. Like
Yeah.
a lot of time. I'm
Well,
gonna get into
for
it, but like,
trading,
you know-
trading, yes, but investing, just straight up investing, like you can just set aside money and make.
yeah,
But like, the point I was trying to make is, you always hear everyone say that, right?
Mhm.
But no one ever actually finds out until like one, they have the money to put into like a portfolio of sorts,
Mhm.
investment portfolio, or a retirement account or anything like that. Like, I feel like it's just a vicious cycle.
That's how people get rich. You know, you
Well-
like save your money and you invest in proper things. You know, that's you make passive income.
Well,
That's
I
how
mean,
you get
if
rich.
you say like right now you wanted to put $1,000 in like a Roth IRA with like maybe 6% returns and interest,
Mm-hmm. Was that
annually.
annually?
And depending on the compound interest, say it compounds every month or so, you could make, by the time you're 55, you could very potentially have like $1 million in that account.
You can
Close
pull
to,
out on that
close
Roth
to.
IRA anytime.
Huh?
You can pull out all that money
No.
anytime. No.
You can, but there's I don't know if it's fees, but there's drawbacks. I don't remember the
I see.
specifics, but the thing about a Roth IRA, I think it's the Roth IRA specific, not the standard IRA. One or the other, at least. You pay the taxes as you put the money in, right? Instead of when you take it out.
Mm-hmm.
So usually someone's gonna be making. I might have told you this already.
Possibly. I'm not
but,
sure.
Say you open it up right now, you're in a certain tax bracket right now because you're making so much money here. Say you're 55 and you haven't retired yet, you could be making way more money
Mm-hmm.
now. So you'll be taxed more at that point in time, right?
See.
So if you put in the money now and you get taxed now, it'll just be less tax total.
That makes sense.
So that's the whole point of it. I think it's the Roth IRA that I'm not entirely sure.
I'm not being like too smart about my finances necessarily. Like I'm saving,
Uh-huh.
and I could obviously be saving in better areas, making better
But again,
like.
like same deal with like the whole working and everything. Everyone puts so much emphasis on like save all your money, don't fucking
Exactly.
spend it on useless shit. Save until you're 60 years old and then you'll have infinite money. Like, yeah, but I don't want to live my life when I'm
Yeah,
60.
nobody wants
I
to
want to have
fucking.
fun now.
Nobody wants to live their fucking life like that.
There should be a moderation, of course, but I don't think you should.
That's
just fucking
where
put
the
all your money
balance
away.
comes from. That's like the fine balance with the fucking triangle. People who are happy as fuck generally have their triangle set pretty well.
Yeah.
Like they're generally pretty healthy, probably. They have a solid social life and they're working enough to feel satiated with work,
Mhm.
They don't feel like that need like, fuck, I'm not doing anything. Like I told you today, I had one session in the morning from 8 to 12:30.
Mhm.
I got home around 1. I felt bored as shit. I watched a fucking Netflix rom-com. It was called The Perfect Date. The concept of the movie was this fucking guy wants to go to Yale. He's a high school student. So he's like, how do I make money? And his fucking tech friend creates an app he's basically a male prostitute. But instead of fucking the girls, he just takes them out on dates. And it's like a concierge
So
service
he's an
where
escort.
it's like bespoke and he can like the girls can pick exactly what they want. So he's like, I'm gonna go to an art museum with the girl and he's gonna dress all fucking fancy, as a turtleneck on and fucking glasses. He's like, oh yeah, I really like this Jackson Pollock, it's really nice, look at the way the spiders are going. And then his like ones where it's like he's going to a fucking rodeo with the girl. So it's like I watched that for 2 hours and then I literally was so bored I fell asleep, which was good, generally. I got a nap, that felt nice.
Mhm.
But I felt so bored, like I guess, yeah, I could have hung out with friends, but I kind of just wanted to, since I'm like naturally pretty introverted, I kind of just wanted to chill out on my own, but I felt so bored. I ended up cleaning because
Start
that's one of
reading.
the things I do.
Like I get you. Like when you finish a movie or a TV show, you just feel like empty. Like I just fucking. It's same with video games. I just threw an hour of my life away. Unless
Not necessarily with video games for
not,
me.
oh
Depending
really?
on what the movie is, if it really like had an impact
Depending
on
on the
me.
movie, agreed. And TV
But
show, like for example, Game of Thrones. I'll never regret it. I will finish an episode of Game of Thrones feeling fulfilled.
mm,
I just spent
yeah.
my hour. An
I
hour of
have.
my
I
life
still
doing
haven't
great
watched Game of
things,
Thrones.
right?
I'm like that 1 percentile of
Tomorrow.
the fucking planet that hasn't
No,
watched
I'm sure
Game of
there's a lot
Thrones.
of people that haven't. But I'm just a huge.
Doesn't feel
fantasy-
like it.
I'm a
Everybody's
huge
like, hey,
fantasy
Game of
nerd.
Thrones. Oh, fucking Game of
It's
Thrones.
super
Game of
popular,
Thrones.
definitely. But I know a lot of people who haven't watched it. Definitely more have. But
Mhm.
anyways, with books at least though, like I don't know, it's so much easier. It's strange because there's no visuals to it at all, but I get much more invested into a story
Mm.
if it's a book. And I think that's just because it's more.
Well, because
more
you're
descriptive.
actively doing something. You know, you're reading. When it comes to watching, it's not like, all right, okay, I'm not going to say like you're not actively doing something, watching something, analyzing it, thinking about it, you know, formulating some ideas about watching something. But it's so much more active when you're reading, when you're actually doing something. When it comes to writing, reading, drawing, you're actually using like your, you know, functions to
honestly that probably is
do
it, 'cause
something.
for me. And this might just be singular to me,
Mm.
but like you said, you don't feel this with video games. I do overwhelmingly. I do. I feel like it was a complete waste of my time. I have not bettered myself in any way
I see.
by playing this video game. And I've always had just like this incredible pressure to continue doing something that progresses me.
Yeah.
And video games don't do that, unfortunately.
That's fair.
But
I feel similar to that too because we all used to play games a lot.
yeah.
And ever since like I started working and doing other stuff, like I kind of lost that interest. Like I mean, before I started working too, I kind of started losing interest in playing games. I was kind of just focused on one game in particular, and I only really played it because I was pretty decent at the game. And whenever I play, I always put myself in the mindset like it's me and like a bunch of other random people, and I just want to see like if I'm better than them or they're
Yeah.
better than me,
For
and
me, it
then
was
I can go into
entirely
the
for
next game.
competition. That's
Yeah.
the only reason I ever played.
Exactly.
So.
And
And it gave you clear cut like progression. The ranking system, League of Legends specifically.
Mhm.
I'm talking about the ranking system, like having something to strive for, even though there's like with a single player game, right? Like there's a story, plot you follow.
yeah,
along,
there are
you finish
levels.
it,
You
there's
can beat
end
those
game.
levels or challenges.
With League
yeah.
of Legends, it has none of that, but there's such a clear cut and like precise progression
Mhm.
through the ranks, like literal ranks.
And you can see it. Like you can see it in the game.
exactly.
That's what's
It's-
the most impressive to me is when you can
it's pleasing.
like literally see the skill difference in a player. When you can see
in
that
yourself.
that person's actually
In
really
yourself, when
good.
you see the improvement in yourself.
Yeah, that's also really
that's
cool.
it.
Yeah. That's why I
Right.
like that game in particular. And it's like, you know, like I also use it as a form to like get my aggression out because since I work with children, families, I'm like a social worker basically. I don't like to ever have like that feeling of like anger because when you work with children, like you cannot have that type of like feeling at all because
Yeah.
if you bottle it in, you're just gonna come off like you're on edge and you can fucking explode at any time. And when you let it out, it's obviously just not professional, you know? So that I use that game since it's competitive. I think naturally, if you're a competitive person and you're doing something that's competitive, you're gonna get frustrated, you know, because you're like nobody wins all the time, you know? And it's a good way to,
Except for me.
even though I have obviously know the concept, like you can't win all the time, it's still good to know that you just can't win all the time, you know?
Yeah.
It's good to have that reminder that I can't win all the time, you know? And for it to me to just be okay with that. Some of the kids I work with are very awesome. Like they literally have nothing wrong with them, like at all. But some of the things that the small things that it is like they don't like losing, you know? They're really they don't like losing. They'll get very angry. And I've thought outside of the box. I'm like, how can I teach this kid to understand that losing happens, you know? Like because when he's, 8 or 9, that might be okay to a parent, but when he's in his like 20s or 30s and he still doesn't like losing and he gets frustrated and throws a tantrum or worse, does something like completely unacceptable, like hurt somebody because he doesn't like losing, that's not okay. I have a couple friends who don't like losing, and
I'd say most of us.
you can see it in them, like physically they can get angry, like, and they could do something stupid, and it's just like for me, like trying to teach some of those kids. So one of the ways I taught some of them is this kid hated losing, right? And we would play board games, and he fucking hated it. He'd get mad. He'd yell. He's like,
not
"Fuck
good at
this."
Because he lost at them more.
Yeah.
Than, 'cause
Well,
he's not
no.
good at
Well, yeah, he'd be losing, but generally he was really good at the game. That was the thing. He's very competitive, and most competitive people are very good. But when they lose, it's like, I shouldn't lose because I'm better. You know, it's like they have that mindset. But it's like, I'm gonna make sure this fucking kid loses. So what I would do to try and teach him how that losing's okay is I would cheat.
Yeah.
I would cheat at the game. I would make it where it is physically impossible for him to win. There's no way. And he would lose so much in a row that I would just have to explain to him, like, you know, it's okay. You know, like, we're going to keep playing again. That's the point, you know?
That's brutal.
You're going to get back up
No
and you're
wonder
going
you
to keep
get
playing.
punched in the mouth.
Yeah, you would have fucked me up. But hey, look at that. Like, a week later, he's playing with other kids and he's losing and he's like, hey, good game. Like, let's play another one. You know, like, he's at that, like,
Yeah.
ready to go again. And that's like the most important thing with me when I see like little progress like that.